The President visits Israel. The Omnibus Bill is dealt a knockout punch. Hundreds demand increased food aid. And abortion rights are questioned. Welcome to A Bloke in Buenos Aires, presenting news and views in English from the capital of Argentina. Please feel free to like, subscribe and leave a comment. President Milei is currently on a visit to Israel, accompanied by his sister Karina and Foreign Minister Diana Mondino. During the attacks by Hamas on October 7th last year, a number of Argentines were killed and others kidnapped, some of whom have now been released. Milei toured some of the attack sites and voiced his support for Israel in their efforts against the terrorist group Hamas. Later, President Milei had a meeting with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, where he again promised to move Argentina's embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, an action which will please some but inflame the wrath of many others. Some 1,200 people, mostly Jews, died in the October 7th attacks by Hamas, which Milei likened to a new Holocaust. However, he failed to comment on the almost 30,000 Palestinian civilians who have died at the hands of Israeli troops, and many world leaders have called out as genocidal in his intentions. Some 200,000 Jews live in Argentina, the largest community in Latin America, and Milei feels a special affinity towards this community due to his ongoing process of conversion to Judaism. On Tuesday, the Omnibus Bill was dealt a fatal blow. Despite all the hard negotiations of the past couple of weeks, which saw agreement reached on Friday by a vote in the Congress, the bill came crashing down as the lawmakers started to pick it apart article by article. The bill has been sent back to the commission stage to be rewritten. The original 664 articles contained in the Ley de Bases, as the bill is officially called, had already been whittled down by almost half during long hours of horse trading to get it through Congress. Some of the most essential parts, to do with privatization and emergency powers for the president, had been removed and the bill as a whole considerably weakened. While Luis Caputo and others tried to put a brave face on things to steady the markets, President Milei has been venting his fury on Twitter, blaming provincial governors for the bill's failure and accusing them of being traitors and enemies of the people. The president took his revenge on Thursday by withdrawing funds for public transport subsidies in the provinces. This rejection of the Omnibus Bill in its current form could actually be an opportunity for the government to present a slimmed down and more targeted version, which might get past the Congress with less obstruction. On Monday, hundreds of people formed a huge queue outside the new Human Capital Ministry to demand more food assistance for poor families. In places, the queue stretched for 30 blocks but was peaceful and kept to the sidewalks in order not to break the rules of Patricia Bullrich's new policing of demonstrations protocols. The protesters want more funds for soup kitchens and other kinds of food aid. Corruption is rife in how food is distributed through middlemen to soup kitchens and other pickup points. Milei calls these intermediaries poverty managers. The minister in charge, Sandra Portavejo, was quoted as saying that she would receive one by one the people who are hungry. So as a protest, people took her at her word and queued outside the ministry offices demanding to see her. Officially, 40% of Argentines live below the poverty line, although the real number is probably considerably higher and growing. Many families rely on food aid to feed their kids. Every news report has some kind of bias, and it's often frustratingly difficult to get a balanced view. Ground News is a website and app that gathers all the world's media in one place so you can compare coverage. Ground News lets you see the story behind the story using data-driven analysis that looks at things like the political bias, reliability and ownership of news outlets. To get a 40% discount off a subscription to Ground News, click on the link in the description below. The current problems with passing even part of the Omnibus Bill have moved another pet project of Milei's up the political agenda, his intention to repeal the abortion law. After a long campaign back in December 2020, women in Argentina finally won the right to legal and safe abortions up to 14 weeks. Milei often stated his opposition to abortion during the election campaign and his intention to change the law, but this was never very high on his list, economic concerns being his top priorities. The new bill to remove the rights to terminations would criminalise women having an abortion and the doctors and assistants who carried out the procedures, with prison sentences of up to 4 years. However, the possibility of abortion is still open when continuing with the pregnancy would threaten the mother's life, but not in the case of pregnancy through rape. Some members of Milei's party oppose these changes to the law, and it seems very unlikely the bill will be passed. But women's groups see this as an attack on the rights of women, and Milei has been very vocal about his opposition to feminism, even to the point of placing feminism alongside socialism in his speech to the Davos Forum last month as one of the principal evils which threaten Western values. That's some of the news from Buenos Aires over the last few days. Let me know what you think about these and any other recent topics in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to see more similar content. And if you want to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee in the link below. And until next time, que tengas un buen día.